Hey YouTube, it's Elvis Ammo here. Hey, today what we're going to do is a continuation of our ballistic gel testing. Okay, now what I've done different today is I went and made some lead that was really soft. Okay, what I done was I had made and I tested this lead is approximately 4 days old now, I think, and I tested this lead on the Lee testing on the Brunel hardness tester from Lee, and it measured right there at 0.71. all right, so that is very soft lead. All right, so that gives us a Brunel hardness of 10.1. okay, and I'm gonna call that approximate. Okay, that's what I was averaging out at. So that's the soft lead that we're going to shoot, and we're going to shoot it with I'm going to try to use 4 different styles of ammunition and 3 different calibers. 2 of the calibers are going to be 300 blackout, and using the same ammunition that we have loaded in previous videos. So you'll the 230 grain missiles, that is this one, that's going to be the first one that we shoot. This is the elusive 300 blackout 230 grain missiles that we seem to keep losing out of the gel, and this is very soft lead now. So I am going to learn right along with you guys what this soft lead is going to do in the ballistic gel. I have not shot this. I told you that we would just do it together live and you can see it yourself. I know a lot of you want to know, there's a lot of talk, powder coated bullets, where you know, some people seem to think that the hardness of the lead is irrelevant. I don't think it's quite irrelevant, but I do realize that lead hardness is not as important as it used to be without the powder coat. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to shoot the 300 blackout 230 grain missiles that are you know, nearing the pure lead on the chart, but not quite, of course. This has actually been this is actually, a lot of you want to know, how did you mix it? So I'm going to tell you. I mixed this at approximately 50% wheel weights and 50% pure lead from the stick-on weights. Okay, so that's what I come up with. Alright, second of all, we're going to shoot the supersonics, and these are the 160 grain that these travel at 1650 feet per second, and the next thing that we want to know is how do they react in the ballistic gel, and are they going to cause leading in the barrel when I shoot it? That's going to be the second one that I shoot. And then the third one that I shoot is going to be a 9mm, and this is the 125 grain 9mm round, and it's the same lead, it's the same hardness, the 10.1 Brunel hardness, and we're going to see how this reacts. We know in the last video that I done, where I did the torture test on powder coated bullets, where I torched them and hammered them and shot them in the gel and collected the bullets and showed you guys, those bullets were making, you know, they were going, we were getting almost 32 inches of ballistic gel out of these things, and that's not good for a self-defense round. Now, I will give you one more note that might be of interest to you. Is I ordered a round flat nose for the 9mm. So we will also be testing those. As soon as I get that mold, we're going to make some soft lead again, and we're going to shoot the round flat nose to see what kind of expansion. Maybe we'll have a nice defense round with that one. We'll see. Stay tuned. That's coming up. And then the last but not least, we're going to be shooting 45 caliber. And these the 9mm and the 45 will be fired from a Glock 45 and, you know, obviously a Glock 9mm. That is the 45 caliber 230 grain, and it is again this soft lead 10.1 Bernal hardness. All right, so we seen what happened with the 223 when I fired it in one of the previous videos. It has the round flat nose on it, traveling at 2,500 feet per second. That thing expanded within 12 inches, just ripped a new hole in this ballistic gel. We like that. That's a good self-defense round in my opinion, and a lot of you guys are still commenting on that video. And the only thing that we can do to improve that round, if we want to see more expansion, is to actually speed that bullet up. And that's what I'm going to do in another video as well. I'm going to push that speed a little bit faster to see what it does in the ballistic gel. But for today, we'll stick to what we're doing, and we're going to fire the 230 grain 300 blackout missiles, subsonic, traveling at 1,030 feet per second, at with very soft lead, to see if we can capture this thing, see if maybe it'll expand, or we'll just see what it does in the ballistic gel. And then we're going to shoot the supersonic, and then we're going to shoot the 9mm, and then we're going to shoot the 45. Hopefully we'll have room in this ballistic gel, but I'm shooting them in that order, and if I don't have room for them, then we'll do that in another video. So let me set you up, get you a good view of this ballistic gel, and we're going to shoot in that order. Alright, 300 blackout, 230 grain missiles. That darn thing went out of there again. Come out the side right here. One more shot. We got a bullet. Oh my God. That thing, you guys seen what happened. That thing is just laying down really pretty, just up backwards. Oh my goodness. That's pretty cool. All right. Now we're going supersonic. .160 grain supersonic. We have accomplished some big stuff here, you guys. This thing mushroomed. It is beautiful. We're going to get excited when we dissect this. There's a big mushroom sitting right here, guys. And it actually didn't make it as far as the 230 grain. All right, now we're going to shoot a 9mm. I'm going to correct this real quick. I think we had some movement here. And we got a 9mm sitting right here. Okay. We're going with the 45. I suspect these things aren't expanding, they're just not moving fast enough. .45 caliber. You see that smoke come out of there? We got a 45 caliber sitting right here, boys. We're looking good. We have a little bit of sampling of everything. We're going to have some fun. I'm going to bring you back. We're going to dissect this thing. See that? Got a 45 right there, 9mm. The 230 grain missile is laying facing backwards right here. And the most important thing that I wanted to see personally was the supersonic round in the 300 blackout. Is it going to just cruise down here and stop again like it did in the other video? Or are we going to have a mushroom? And we got a mushroom. And it's sitting right here. And that's what we want to see. Okay, I'm going to try my best to show you in as much detail as I can here. I'll go. The first shot was the 300 blackout, 230 grain missiles. Okay, and I fired the first shot, and the first shot was this wide channel right through here. I don't know if you can see it. I'll give you a close-up in a minute. Where the bullet spun around backwards and it came out right here on the side. Alright, about in its regular spot where it normally comes out, about 3 inches into the second block again. Alright, so and it left it done its spin around about 8 inches in, and left it left just barely over 2 inches of, of a wide spin around right here and come out here. Now the second one, we had to fire a second one because the first one come out. So we fired a second one of these missiles, and it done its spin around at about less than 6 inches in, about five and a half inches in actually, and it spun around this direction, and that bullet went down into the second block about the end of it is resting at about 3 1/4 inches, the back side of the bullet, and it's all the way at the bottom of the ballistic gel, alright, facing backwards, and it left this big huge cavity. And this one looks to be about 2 1/4, 2 1/2 inches around where that bullet spun this direction. All right, so this is something that we had mentioned about these 300 blackout missiles. Now this is the very soft lead. Now these things just aren't traveling enough for the soft lead to help us. That's what I'm concluding here with this soft lead with bullets that are subsonic, including 45 and 9mm. So but what we did do here is something pretty amazing that a lot of you are going to agree. After that, we went ahead and fired a supersonic round, the 160 grain supersonic round that's traveling at 1,650 feet per second. And that round went in right here, and you guys had seen some smoke and fire and everything else probably here, but I didn't play it back. I didn't see it, but that bullet went in right here, this black streak. It went in right here, this black streak, and it left a wake about 1 1/4 inches, about 1 1/4 inches in diameter, from about 2 inches in, you know, all the way to about almost 8 inches, and then it started slowing down enough where it's not making a big wake, and it made this streaky hole through here and mushroomed really beautiful, and landed about a 3/4 of an inch into the second block. So it traveled a total of about 17 inches through the ballistic gel. This is good, especially this damage that is done right here. So we've accomplished something. We can play around and maybe make this bullet just a little bit harder, depending on. Now the next thing that you guys want to see is, did we get any leading from this? Now I looked through the barrel, and I couldn't tell of any kind of leading at all just looking, but I'm gonna you know, wipe it, and I'm not gonna do this on this video, but what I will do is I'm gonna check for leading, and if there is any leading at all, I will let you know down below in the description. Okay, so I won't have to go through all that on this particular video. So that is really beautiful. This is the mushroom. Now on the 9mm, then we shot a 9mm, and the 9mm, it went in here, and it did however leave, you know, a really nice wake, you know, through about 5 1/2 inches. It did leave a good wound channel in that you know, in that wake zone, and then it turned around backwards and ended up right here, about 7 inches into the second block. And then on the 45, the 230 grain 45, and these are all 10.1. The Burnell hardness is 10.1 that I measured. Since I made them, they're about 4 days old or so, I would say, the lead itself. So you guys can factor that in. Here's the 45 round right here, and it had about 6.5 inches left to go. Well, about 6 inches left to go. So it made a good travel through there. But because of the soft lead, these bullets are not as traveling as fast or as far as they did in the last video when we done a torture test on these bullets. But we didn't shoot the 45. But I'll tell you that they're not going as far, okay? But anyway, let's get these bullets out, recover them, see what they look like. Well, first of all, let me give you a close-up. You're saying, whoa, let's take a look. Okay. Now, did you see this thing jump when we put that supersonic through it? When that thing mushroomed, a lot of energy went into this 40 pounds of gel, and boy, this thing jumped. Now, this cardboard was stapled down, and you see how well this sticks to the cardboard. I have to peel it off. So that was a lot of energy to move this thing. Alright. So here we go. Those big fat wound channels that you're seeing right here is the the subsonics when they spin around on me. And that's the second one. You see that one? That's the one that we captured. This big thing here. That bullet flipped around. So that may very well be a good self-defense round for home defense. I don't know. You guys can determine that. But this one right here, where see this black hole right here, that was the super. It went in here, and it made this channel all the way through, and then come out about right here in the gel on the back side. Alright, and it landed right here. This is the right there. That's our supersonic round. That's where it stopped. I don't know if you can see the mushrooming before I pull it out. I wanted you to try to get a good look before I pull it out. That's a pretty good look. Alright, and you see the bullet on the bottom, that's our missile. And it's just sitting right there. It's actually, I can almost feel the bullet. It's right there on the bottom, on the end. It almost broke right through, or it did break through. That's our missile. And there is our 9mm right here. Oh, that's our 45. I'm sorry. And there's our 9mm right there. Spun around backwards. 45 actually is forward. Right there. So, let's take these out and see what they look like. This one's going to be easy. I don't even need to cut it out. There it is. there it is. That's our soft missile. You get to see it live right here with me. First look for both of us. Got rifling all up and down this thing. You can see the blue powder coat all over it. This looks like just carbon. There's the base of the bullet. It's the base, and it did. You can tell that the bullet is slightly bent because it was so soft. But I'm not sure if we need to really soften these that much. I don't think it really matters, because we know in the other videos that this thing was doing practically the same thing, except for in this video we actually caught the bullet. So the reason being is because this bullet isn't traveling fast enough to take advantage of the soft lead. So whether you make them soft lead or hard lead, it doesn't matter. Now the only other thing that would matter, that could matter, would be I know I have some subscribers that are interested in doing some hollow points. Now that's where a low velocity bullet could benefit. But with the high velocity bullets, we are benefiting from soft lead itself without a hollow point. So that's the bullet. I hope I'm showing you this really good. I hope you're getting a good view of it. The powder coat has held up. The bullet has held up. It is definitely bent, and you can see it has a little crook to it right here, where it went in backwards, where it went in, flipped around and tried to go backwards, and it seemed to mushroom a tiny bit here. The beginnings of what a mushroom would be. So there's the 300 missile, 230 grain missile, and this is what one would normally look like right there. So there you go. Now I don't think we're that interested really in the 45 or the 9mm. Other than, let's see what happened to the powder coat. So here is our 9mm. And it looks like it's compressed a little bit, for sure. You can see how it's a little narrower in the center band and wider in the front and the back where it compressed. Here's the back of the bullet. So the interest that we want here is really just to see how the bullet fared. Alright, that's about it. The powder coat held up. The bullet did compress. But so do the harder alloys. It compresses a little bit, but this definitely compressed quite a bit more. Alright, so that's the 9mm. And that's what a 9mm would look like before I load it. That's the 125 grain powder coated cast lead bullet. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and just, for kicks and giggles, take a look at the 45. Now I'm probably cutting on this thing a little bit, and I didn't want to do that. I felt my knife kind of dig into it. And we're seeing this for the first time together. That's the 45. You can see the rifling all up and down it. That's a 230 grain. There's the base of the bullet, still beautiful powder coated. And this one is traveling at about 830 feet per second or so. And it's very soft lead, and it don't seem to look as compressed as the 9mm. This is what one would look like normally. I'll try to line them up here. So it don't really seem to look compressed. Anyway, that was the 45. I don't think that's of a big interest. What we're finding here is it don't really matter how hard it is, other than us making a hollow point in this case for these to expand because they're not traveling fast enough. Alright, so now this is the moment we want. These supersonics. Alright, man, this is what we wanted to happen. Alright, the last time in the other video that we shot the supersonic and collected a bullet, it traveled all the way through and stopped just before it got to the end. When I set this gel back down, obviously I had it backwards. So that's where our bullet stopped, right here. I don't really want to damage this bullet. Alright, we're seeing it for the first time. I'm going to let you see it before I see it. This is the bullet right here. You can see the blue powder coat all over it. Big fat mushroom. 160 grain bullet right here. This is what it looks like. Right. So it looks like what is that, 5/8 of an inch, is it? Right there. So this thing expanded. You see how wide this bullet is. Nice expansion. Really nice expansion. There it is. From the looks of the back of it, it looks to me, again, and I said this the last time, it looks to me like that is actually an imprint of the powder on the back of the bullet. And that's probably because when this thing was loaded, that's a full load, not necessarily compressed, but it's definitely touching the powder, and that's probably what that has a little bit to do with. Alright, so look at the blue powder coating on this bullet, and you can see the rifling on the trunk right there. You can see the rifling on it. Hey man, I caught that thing. See there? That's a beautiful expansion. And you know, it traveled about a total of 17 inches through this ballistic gel. Alright, now you guys can just decide what to make of that. You know, the way I see it is the 45 9mm, they just need to be a hollow point bullet in order to expand. You're not going to put enough speed on them to expand them with soft lead. Now, on the 300 blackout missiles, these, I don't think it really matters whether it is soft lead or not. It would probably need to be, it's not designed to be a hollow point, although this could probably be hollow pointed as well. So anyway, that's where we're at on this one. But the real question is, does it need to be hollow pointed at all when it does that kind of damage right there? Do you see this huge, I mean, that right there is, that's the end of the world for somebody. If this went into a zombie, the zombie would, he'd be gone. So, the 300 blackout missiles are good however you make them. That's my opinion. And one thing that I will do on these, just to test and play for kicks and giggles and find out a little bit more about powder coated bullets and soft alloy running at supersonic speeds, is I will play around a little bit with the softness of the alloy, maybe make it a little bit harder, and just see if we still get the expansion that we want. But might not be necessary unless I shoot a bunch of these and I get leading. But it don't look like leading is a problem yet. So there we go, YouTube. You guys, you know, just tell me what you make of it. Tell me what you think, and I will see you in the next video.